This is episode 2 of Voices from the Castle with your host, Shane Hiley, Superintendent, Tyler County Schools. On today's episode, we are going to look at the district's goals for the year. We are also going to be looking at some legislative updates that affect our public schools, and then just some other hot topics that generally deal with public education in the state of West Virginia. First, let's take a look at Tyler County Schools' goals for the year. We have 4 main goals this year. The first being academic improvement. Second, attendance, the attendance of our students and the attendance of our staff, trying to increase that percentage. And also looking at our chronically absent students and trying to get those kids in school more often. We will be looking at extracurricular. We want kids to be involved in things. So the percentage of our kids who are involved in extracurricular activities, that's one of our big goals, just to increase that number. And then lastly, the mental health and well-being of our students and staff. What are we doing to help kids and staff deal with the mental issues, mental health issues, and everyday stressors that school and life brings to them? So first, we're going to look at academics. Tyler County schools have always been well known for the rich history of academic excellence across the state of West Virginia, and that trend continues. But we know that there's always room to grow and to get better. So our goal this year will be to raise the general summative assessment scores by 5 percentage points in both ELA and mathematics across each grade level, and also raise those SAT scores at our high school level. We know that in middle school, ELA, English Language Arts, is an area that we need to do better in. And in high school, mathematics seems to be the area that we really could use some improvement. So I'll talk a little bit today about the steps we're taking to shore up those areas of our school system and make sure that we're moving in a positive direction for kids and their growth educationally. So with academics, like I said, Tyler County Schools has always had a very strong academic presence in the state of West Virginia. I just wanted to give you a few updates. This year, Niche, which is one of those organizations who rates school systems, they gave us a 4.14 out of 5 overall rating, which ranks us 4th out of 55 counties in the state. We were number 2 for the best places to teach and number 2 for the best teachers in the state of West Virginia. And that pretty much, speaks for itself. We have great educators who care about kids here. They do a good job to make sure that our kids are prepared for life outside of school, and we will, we'll continue that tradition along the way. Also, there's another organization out there called School Digger, and School Digger ranks schools based solely on academic growth. And I will say that both of our elementary schools, Arthur I. Borman and Sistersville Elementary School, were ranked in the top 65 percentile in the state of West Virginia. Our middle school was in the 77th percentile, and our high school was just right around the 50th percentile in the state. So we're happy with those. We're not satisfied, but we're happy with those outcomes, and we'll continue to move forward and work on some things. Like I said, English Language Arts in our middle school, those test scores were the ones that we want to continue to grow. They weren't bad. We made great improvements in our middle school this year in both ELA and math, but we really feel like we can really up the ante there. And what we're going to do that is, we're looking at tiered systems of support. We do that a lot in our elementary schools. We have station work, and in those stations, it's different tiers where kids, that's where they learn. That's where they're at. So sometimes you got to meet those kids where they're at, and that's what we're doing now in our middle school in both math and ELA. And we're seeing great improvements with the stations and the stations model that we're utilizing in both our ELA and math classes. In our high school, we know mathematics is where we need to work on. Students aren't performing to the level in which we expect here in Tyler County, and we have some ideas in place. We have some things in place that we think will really benefit. And I plan on in future episodes, I want to get the ELA teachers from the middle school and the high school math teachers on the podcast to talk. What are they doing differently to make changes in those two curriculums in those two grade levels? So I'll be looking forward to that episode to talk to those folks. On to attendance. So academically, we're gonna try to gain 5 percentage points in each grade level in each area that's tested by the state. Attendance wise, our goal is 94% of our students are here daily. We want them to be at school. It's important that they're in school. You can't learn if you're not in school. So we want kids to be here. So one thing that we have in place here, one program that we have in place here that I feel has been a huge blessing for our school system is Communities in Schools. Communities in Schools is a program that we partner with that places site coordinators right in our schools, and they help identify and remove barriers that might keep kids from coming to school. Whether that's food, clothing, healthcare, just simply making sure that they're checking in with them to make sure that everything's okay and that they're coming to school. And over the past 3 years, our chronically absent students, which are those kids who miss a lot of school on a daily basis, that percentage of chronically absent students has went down significantly. And last year, we've seen the biggest gains we've seen just by having some things in place that we feel really motivate kids to come to school. We know it's not always easy to get up, and it's not always easy to get dressed, and it's not always easy to come and face the day. But we find that it's very important, and there's a strong correlation if you look between attendance and grades, and attendance and being successful in school. So it has been a blessing to have Communities in Schools in each one of our buildings. We have it in our 2 elementary schools, and then one in our middle school, and then we also work with some of those high school students also using those site coordinators. And we look forward to continuing to work with Communities in Schools as we move forward for many years to come. It's been one of the best programs that I've seen implemented in public education in a long time. Another goal of our system, another goal of Tyler County Schools, is to get kids involved. Get kids involved, especially in our middle school and our high school. And now we're reaching down into those elementary grades to get kids involved. And we have found that the more kids who are involved in something, the better results we have in test scores, the better attendance that we have, the more school spirit that we see. And, to feel like you're a part of something is so very important to anyone. So when kids are a part of something, whether it's the FFA, whether it's the band, whether it's a different club, whether it's a sports team, whether it's just anything that they can be involved in at school, you see attendance go up, you see discipline go down, you see school pride go up. So we've made it our goal, and I think last year in our high school, we were about 93% of our students were involved in something. And that's been a goal of our high school for years. And I think as a county, we need to do the same thing. You make that one of our goals also. Get kids involved. For their mental health, it's huge. For their sense of self, it's huge. But That's going to be one of our goals. We want, in the end, 100% of our kids to be involved in something outside of the just the daily school routine of going to class. So that's a lofty goal, but we feel like we've you know we started an archery club. We have esports. We're trying to find every niche that we could possibly find to get kids involved, uh, and we're working hard to make sure that happens. So that's the third goal that we have. And then fourth, we're going to continue to work on our students' mental health and our staff's mental health. Um, as most of you know, we have a huge support staff in our Student Success Center, and those ladies that work in that office are godsend. They help kids. They work with kids every day, finding resources, working through issues they may have. We have a social worker in there. We have school psychologists. We have two counselors, high school counselors, and a middle school counselor. Our communities and schools middle school person is in that office also. And then we have Lance, who's our therapy dog. And then we have outside agencies who come into our Student Success Center and work with kids with therapy sessions and different things like that. But one thing that I've always wanted and could never really find until I was at a superintendent's conference this summer, and I met a lady from the company Gaggle. And what Gaggle is it is a internet-based support system for kids. So, uh, long story short, pretty much what it is it's a 24-hour, 7-day a week counselor that a kid can get a hold of via a quick phone call. And I always worried as a superintendent about holiday breaks and weekends and things like that. The times when we were not present with students, our student success staff was not present with students. How do they get the help that they need? So what Gaggle does is they have licensed therapists that are on call 24/7, that our kids can simply pick up a phone and call if they're having an issue. It could be as minor as they're struggling with homework, or they had a breakup with their boyfriend or girlfriend, or it could be as big as suicidal ideations or suicidal thoughts. And so what Gaggle does is it goes through a group of questions with those students, and also gives them some tips of how they can deal with things. And if they feel like the student is a threat to themselves, Gaggle will also reach out to law enforcement and also the staff here at Tyler Consolidated to let us know the issue that's occurred. And I feel really good about that. The addition of that to our already great staff at the Student Success Center, I think it'll make our staff even that much stronger when kids have the opportunity to uh, have someone on call 24/7 that they can actually talk to. It's not a machine. It's not AI. It's an actual licensed therapist who will answer their call. So we will continue to look at ways to grow and help our kids with their mental health issues, and um, whatever we can do. We know that if a kid is hungry, or a kid is can't think because they're afraid of what's going on at home, we know that they're not going to learn. So we have to make sure all those needs, all those basic necessities are covered before they can learn. And I think we're doing a pretty good job of that here in Tyler County with our student success staff and the support staff that we have in our elementary schools also. So that's really our four goals: academic growth, getting kids involved in extracurricular activities, attendance, and making sure that students continue to have the mental health support system that they need to grow and be successful. All right, so just a couple other things more to look at on this podcast is uh, new legislation that we should watch for that has came through our great legislative session that we had last year in West Virginia. Two that are pretty hot topics right now, that I think people would probably like to know about is, let's talk about one. Let's talk about cell phones in schools, cell phones in classrooms. So the legislature decided that, you know, kids should not have their cell phones during school hours, the school day. So they had counties and superintendents draft policies that say just that that students cannot utilize their cell phones in class during the school day. Well, now it's my understanding that they've come back and said, well, we didn't mean the school day. We mean like instructional time. So I guess it would be okay if they had it during lunch. Um, but in Tyler County, even before this legislation, we were strictly no cell phones during the school day. So in all, it really doesn't affect what we do here in Tyler County or Tyler County schools. But I know across the state, it is caused some real concern with parents and students alike, who really want that cell phone during the day. So and then the other thing that is really a very hot topic right now, is the vaccine policy and religious exemptions from school vaccines. And I'll tell you that in Tyler County, we will just continue to do what the State Department of Education tells us to do, and that will be our stance, our hard stance moving forward, and with this issue. So whatever the State Department of Education tells us to do, that's what we're going to do. So um, those are really the two big hot. There was a lot of legislation out there this year, but those are really the two big ones that we see affecting our day-to-day operations here in school. A couple other things I wanted to talk about just before I go on this episode. Um, some project updates. Tyler County Schools. We're blessed with a couple big projects going on, and we got one that's starting to wrap up a little bit. Then we got one that's just getting kicked off. So we have a gym addition, is what it's kind of came down to, in the back of our high school, middle school. That is almost complete. We had a meeting today about punch lists and fire marshal visits. So in that addition, if you drive around back, you can see it's a beautiful addition to the school. It really, really, really is a nice looking building. I was worried in the beginning that it would not look like it fits, because it's so big and grand, but it fits in greatly with the existing school, and it looks really, really good. So when you come in, there'll be a grand entrance there where there'll be ticket takers for the gym. Also housed in this new addition will be a lot of storage spaces for athletics and academics. We have a black box theater that's been created for theater and the music department to utilize. Upstairs, we have a huge cheerleading and wrestling room that students will be able to utilize, which, in the past, they've had to utilize the mezzanine and different places like that, wherever they can practice. So we have practice space for those. There are offices. There are also locker rooms for those individuals also. The other thing with this big project, with the addition, is the addition of some new flooring. We were able to put new flooring in our both commons areas and then some hallways, along with some of the classrooms, and some of the areas in the new addition has new terrazzo flooring. Very nice, beautiful. I was very surprised at the process, though. It's a long process for that to be put down, but very durable material that will last in Tyler County schools for 50 years. I mean, it's very, very nice. So we're excited to open that up to the public, and that should be coming very, very, very soon. We're hoping we get that in our hands by the 1st of September. We can have a grand entrance, grand opening of that of that facility. The other part of that project is a new head house and meats lab for our VOAG program. It is being built in the same exact spot that it was in before. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful structure, more like a storefront kind of look to it than it used to be just a block building, and we're excited for that. We should have occupancy of that about October 9th, and we hope to be able to open that to the public for everyone to see, and really enjoy that for our FFA and VOAG programs. Then the other big project is Tyler Consolidated new elementary school. We are still in the planning phases. We hope to very soon be putting out site package bids for the dirt work and the road work that goes along with building this new elementary school. We are so excited. We've had great input from teachers. We've had great input from community members. Great input from our architectural firm, McKinley and Associates, and it's going to be top notch. It's going to be people are going to want to come to Tyler Consolidated Elementary School because of how great it is and how it is so conducive to learning styles of elementary students. So, what we're doing in this new school is we will have centralized areas, a big area for entire grade levels to meet and do things. And then outside those big meeting areas, there will be the pods around the outside will be the classrooms. And so we are going to have learning communities, learning pods for each grade level. So we're looking forward to that design. The new school will have full-size gymnasium, full-size cafeteria. It will have a daycare for our staff to utilize. In Tyler County, we struggle sometimes to get teachers to come work here because of daycare and housing. So we thought, we can't do much about the housing situation, but we can do something about daycare. So we want to have a fully functional daycare in this new elementary school. And our goal is that it will have a fully functional clinic. So instead of kids having to leave school and go to the doctor, or, they could just go to our clinic. They can have full service with a nurse practitioner and nurses, and be able to get diagnosed and treated and probably prescriptions called in right there from the elementary school. So it's we want it to be kind of a one-stop shop for everything that kids need. I mean, we want this campus to be the hub of the community. And so we want it to be utilized by everyone. And right now, if you are around Tyler County schools, you know that Tyler Consolidated High School and Tyler Consolidated Middle School are the hub. There are people in and out of here all the time with different activities. There are people here all the time. And that's what we want to grow this campus into, is kind of the center point, the meeting point for our community. So we are excited to get this project started. I think next week or the week after we meet, and teachers are going to get a meet and start looking at furniture options for the interior. We've already had meetings with different groups to talk about, the physical therapy and occupational therapy areas, the special need areas, all the different areas in the school and the needs and wants that they have. So we are so looking forward to Tyler Consolidated Elementary School being built, and providing the students with Tyler County the best of everything. We're doing our part to make sure that Tyler County schools are set up for the next 50 years, as far as facilities goes, right now. So in closing, thank you all for listening to episode 2 of Voices from the Castle with your host, Shane Hiley, Superintendent, Tyler County Schools. Go Knights.